In this video, I'm going to show you how to get rid of all of your food intolerances fast. Like, your food intolerances will be gone by the end of this video. I used to be on super strict diets for my Crohn's disease. I used to avoid gluten. I used to avoid milk and coffee. Now I eat these foods every single day, if not with every single meal. I don't have coffee with every single meal. I'd be like this the whole time. When I was first diagnosed with Crohn's, I wasn't following any diet, so I really didn't have any food allergies. I just had diarrhea from time to time. But then after a year or two of doing drugs that did absolutely nothing for my condition, just kind of drained my wallet, I went on the specific carbohydrate diet, which is a very, at the very beginning of this diet, all you're eating is mashed carrots, ground beef, chicken, Jello, like not a fun diet at all. And then each week you put more foods, but specifically you're like avoiding grains. And this is when I first started to get food intolerances. So 3 months into that, I was doing pretty well. And I was like, okay, it's my birthday and I'm gonna have some cake, I'm gonna have some pizza. And oh my God, I got insanely sick. Whereas before, I could eat those foods and I'd be fine. I could go to work, nothing would happen. I had crippling gut pain for days after following this diet for just 3 months. So I was like, wow, I'm stuck on this diet. This is great. This is fun. Thank you. And then a couple of months later, I stumbled upon the Weston A. Price diet. So Weston A. Price was a dentist in the 1930s who traveled the world, and he saw what healthy primitive populations were eating. He was a dentist, and he measured their health. It first became like a dentist thing, but then it became like a nutrition health study. But he would visit these tribes, and they would have zero cavities. They were still on their ancestral diet. Now, with my knowledge of German New Medicine, it was a combination of their diet and a combination of their lifestyle, because the conflict for cavities is I can't bite back. And then, the people in the modern villages, they were wanting to bite back at their bosses and stuff. And then they also didn't have the nutrients to heal their teeth. Whereas the people in the villages were getting tons and tons and tons of nutrients. So a lot of people read this book incorrectly. Most of the people were eating starches with every single meal. The starches were sacred foods. The fermented sauerkraut, fermented pickles. Yeah, that stuff's great, but it has zero nutrients in it. It literally has zero nutrients in it. What has all the nutrients is the meat, the dairy products, organ meats, and the grains, the starches, the beans, the legumes. They have the majority. And Weston A. Price says this. He says you need to eat like 300 carrots to get the amount of like 1 pound of lentils, which is like a normal amount of starch you eat during a meal. But anyways, all of a sudden I wasn't afraid of eating bread. I was, as long as it was sourdough, because that was the old traditional way to do it. If I had sourdough bread, now I could eat sourdough bread, but not normal bread. Even though I'd eaten my whole entire life and didn't have issues, and everyone else on the planet's eating bread and didn't have any issues. So I was on the Weston A. Price diet for a very long time. I thought I was doing well, even though I only weighed like 150, 160 pounds, and I still looked like a skeleton. Then I finally discovered German New Medicine. German New Medicine was, I guess you could say, created by Dr. Hammer, or he made these discoveries where, well, first he worked with like testicular cancer, because that's what he had. And his testicular cancer developed after his son, I don't know if the right word's murdered, but manslaughter. And there's a whole documentary on Netflix about it. And his testicular cancer developed after his son died, and there was like a big, long, drawn-out court case and whatnot. And he started to look at other people who had testicular cancer, and it was always like, their dog died, their son died, their daughter died. And biologically, it makes sense. My offspring has passed away, therefore, I'm going to put the testicles in the overdrive so I can make more, of that stuff, so I can reproduce better. So when it comes to, and then you look at their CT scans, and everyone who had testicular cancer would have a ring in their brain in the exact same location every single time. And that's what got me. I was first told like, oh, it's caused by a conflict shock, a stressful situation that caught you off guard. I've had digestive issues forever. So when I look into my past, it's not so obvious, because my conflict shocks were like being told no at the mall that I couldn't have my McDonald's Happy Meal. Like, I'm not even kidding. Or not being able to buy Pokemon cards, or not being able to get that action figure, or being ripped off the Nintendo. Like, those were my conflict shocks when I was like 5, 6 years old. Like, I can't remember them. I'm slowly digging up these memories. But for the vast majority of you, it started like 5 years ago, 2 years ago. Okay, it's either a breakup, you lost your job, you didn't pass some school exam. It always starts around the same time of a stressful situation. Every single time. You are not unique. We are all the same. We all have the same biology. All of you that have IBS, Crohn's, and Colitis, you're going to have a ring in the brain in the exact same location every single time. I've seen it in my brain. I'll put a picture right here. When I saw those rings and how the whole entire, every single mental illness in general, it can all be, Dr. Hammer could look at your brain CT scan and pretty much know what health conditions you would have. When I finally understood that part of German New Medicine, it killed all the stupid holistic beliefs that I can't eat gluten, which is freaking protein. Protein comes from the Greek word proteus, of the utmost important. Protein is the most important nutrient for you, and you are afraid of it. It's insanity. In that instant, I went from, oh my God, you gotta be careful of gluten, or if you are gonna eat it, then it needs to go through the sourdough process, to it is stupid to think that you're gluten intolerant. It is ridiculous. If you think something is bad for you and it comes into you and you're like, oh no, I shouldn't have ate that. Last time I ate this, I had a flare. The brain's gonna go, okay, we need to get this out, diarrhea. It's that simple. That's how it works. So the way you get rid of your food intolerance is you kill the belief. Kill it. Murder it with gluten. Murder it with, drown it in baby food. Easy to digest nutrients. Do not be afraid of the very thing that keeps you alive. And the best way to kill this belief that I've found is help people find their original conflict, and then also showing the brain CT scans. You need to kill the belief that food's putting your gut in and out of overdrive. It will only do that if you have this silly, insane belief that a lot of people are running around with, and I did myself. That's why I took down all my old videos, because I was creating this insane belief inside people's heads. All right, guys, if you haven't already, go watch my webinar, and it will kill that belief for you even more. And I'm doing Black Friday sales, so if you're not on my newsletter, which you sign up for on the webinar, then you're not going to get access to it. So I just sent one out this morning. So sign up and you'll get I'm doing like one a day. I'm doing a crazy sale every day. So sign up for my webinar. It's going to kill your food beliefs, and you're going to get crazy Black Friday discounts. All right.